Dice, yeah, ay, ay. This podcast, FYI, I am damaged. I sit in this chair pulling stories out of others. But today, the mic turns on me. In this episode, I'm not the interviewer. I'm the one being asked to look at my own cracks. My wife, Argelia, sits across from me and asks the questions I may have spent years avoiding. What happens when your passion becomes the only place you still feel alive, while the rest of your life is burning you out? How do you hold a 9 to 5, bills, expectations, stress that eats at your bones while still chasing the one selfless passion that makes your heart beat? And how do you keep creating when you're carrying trauma, disappointment, and the quiet grief of feeling unseen? This isn't a highlight reel. It's not a motivational speech. It's a moment of honesty, my honesty, about what it really costs to build something meaningful while life keeps throwing weights on your chest. If you've ever questioned whether you could hold it all together and still build your dream, this conversation might be the permission you've been waiting for. Let's begin.
Okay, so I just want to acknowledge the space, and I have the honor and pleasure of being here with Oscar Luna, the one and only Mr. FYI, I am damaged. But I want to ask, before we actually do a brain dump of his marvelous movement and company, I wanted to get in writing for ourselves. I want the men in the light to answer certain questions. Do you want to be interviewed? You want to write cookies, why you? What is the story behind I am damaged?
It just feels a little weird, like repeating it in like this setting. But
It's for you.
I just got the information out of the blue when I was making a delivery, and to the place where I had one of my biggest traumas, and that's where it came from. Like everything, the name, why, what I wanted to do with it, how I wanted to help people, and hopefully it's helping myself.
You clear?
Yeah.
Steve. If FYI was a letter to the world, what would it say?
That I don't know, because I'm not even started writing it yet. How would I know? I just know what I want to do with it. I mean, it's
If it was a letter, if you want to write it from your heart and you do it so great in your intro.
yeah, but I'm in the middle of it. I'm not at the reflection point of my life. I'm in the doing point of my life.
I understand. Always, so when we say we visualize, that this reality already exists somewhere. And if we connect right now, like how you want to vision and what you want.
I get it, but I'm here. I'm doing. I'm not looking back at what I did. Not yet.
Well, how you cannot visualize how
I
greatly
I don't want to. See, that's the thing about it, that I don't want to throw myself out of the loop. I don't want to do that, because then that's like someone doing something, starting it in their 20s, and then they're in their 30s, acting like they're in their 60s, looking back at what they started and did and everything. Like, I only got 26 shows, RG. And even though I've started in 2022, that's not, to me, that's not enough. That's not enough stories. It's not. That's a drop in the bucket of what people have gone through, all the missed opportunities that I had to interview people that I don't even know if I can get back. I run the risk of reflecting on my failures. But regardless, it's like I want to be creating. I don't want to look back at my I'm not there yet. I don't want to do that. Unless it's going to pull me forward, I don't want to act like I'm this old guy looking back at all the stuff that I did. I'm in the middle of doing it.
Correct. Well, maybe I'll rephrase the questions is, what's the one?
Perfect answer, Archie, but it's just the one that I'm giving you about how I feel in the moment about what you're asking me. You want me to give you like this perfect answer to a question that you curated, but that's how I feel about it. I see but understand this, because I'm not disregarding your question, because I see the value in it. Because I told you, wow, I should have did more with these episodes when I go through like with the Opus clip. It gives me clips of all these things and seeing, hearing everything what they did, of what they said, but the questions that I asked them. They're like, oh shit, they said this, like, oh my God. And I'm seeing all the lessons and everything. So partially maybe those lessons are for me if I look back at it. But I'm just going and creating content for other people to gain that wisdom from other people who've gone through their traumas and their journey. So look, I get it. If I revisit what I'm creating, yes, maybe I might get more from it. You said it. I'm not taking that away from you, but my vision is a little different from yours. I'm in creative mode. I'm in
Exactly.
yeah, so I can't put myself in a bowl to look back.
Can you just like, oh, redo this? My question is more, when I say a letter, but maybe I could still frame it up. What emotion? What is the feeling? How do you want to? What is you? What is FYI Man damage to you? The podcast.
Is what I stated in the first episode, which I never let go, which was, as corny as it might sound, being the smorgasbord of advice and lessons and everything like that, so that people can cherry pick what they need that might help and get them curious to be like, okay, I get what they're saying. They've been through it. They're at a different part of their life than I am. Will I ever get to there? Okay, and if I'm supposed to get there, how? Okay, what did they do? Oh, they went to therapy. Oh, they confronted their fears. Oh, they accepted what may have happened so that they could put it behind them. I'm pulling that out of people to give that to other people so that they can help themselves either at that moment in time or continue that journey themselves, and they just make a little turn. Like, okay, I'll therapy's not that bad. They did it. I'll do it. Oh, they let it go. Let me get curious about letting it go. And maybe they do. So for me, my power, my energy, my weight into creating these questions, into pulling it from people so that other people can hear. And even then, at that moment in time, yeah, I do too. For me, it's literally one step in front of the other to keep moving to get this content. So those people who are walking in circles and not healing to be healed, at least can help them. Okay, maybe you won't be healed until you're fucking 80 years old. But at least hopefully me interviewing somebody would be a part of your healing process so that you can be a better person. You might not be a perfect person, but you'll be a better person. You might think twice about doing something to your kids, to yourself. That's what matters to me. Not reflecting about this is what I did, this is what I did. It's I take it from this little comedy honoring thing where they were honoring Eddie Murphy, honoring his work. He gets up, as the last person to speak. He's like, when you're in a crowd and they do something like this for you, he's like, it just feels like for 2 hours, everybody's just singing happy birthday. And you're just sitting there uncomfortable. You're just waiting for it to be done. He produced a body of work that everybody enjoys, everybody laughs, puts them in a good mood. Like, I did my job. I don't need you to say, thank you for making me laugh. But the simple fact that you did it, my job is done. Recognition is optional because if it's good, yes, it'll be recognized. Enjoy it, take it in, watch it over and over again, listen to it over and over again, and be happy, be better. Realizing that pulls you into a space of humility. That pulls you in a space of not walking around just because you got a good interview and thinking of yourself like, I'm the shit. Then you run into another problem. Your pride shows up before you fall. And I'm not about that. Yes, it needs a little tweaking, which is what I'm doing now, making it a little more polished. When you start, everything it's like the whole thing was shit. Edited like shit, look like shit, advertised like shit, if at all, produced and everything, whatever. It wasn't even produced. I'm not a producer. I'm a creator.
Thank you for the answer. It was very detailed. And for this one, next question I have for you.
You ambushed me with an interview?
That how the Castillo. I could be punished later.
FYI, we are all healing.
Oh, yeah. Next question I want to ask. What are the phrases you find yourself repeating in your head?
What am I always repeating?
Mm-hmm.
I don't
What are there any phrases that you currently felt repeating in your head?
No, I'm just more worried about that if I didn't leave anything out. It's not about the format, I guess, is kind of like solidifying and it's taking time, but it's just doing my best to focus on the topic and make sure that I don't want to leave anything out, because it's one of those deals where I would hate to have to deal with for a while. If somebody, when this kicks off larger, is that why you didn't ask him this? Why you didn't ask him that? Why you didn't think of this? Or not having, my background is in IT, it's not in mental health. So to make sure whatever I'm talking about with the individual, that it's on point about what I want to get across. That's why, it was new to me when Sola, she was like, are you going to ambush me? What the fuck you talking about? I'm doing, she didn't get it in the beginning. She got it through the interview, like, oh, you're doing something to help other people and this and that. So she got more comfortable. But in the beginning, she was a little nervous, and she's like, you're not one of those people that like hit me with a question that is like just gonna ambush me or shit like that in a negative way. I was like, no, this is for XYZ. I wouldn't do that to people. At that point in time, she was a friend to us, and it was just like, I might not do that. Like, I don't do that in general. I kept pushing her to be like, listen to the episodes I already have out, which was only what? 2 plus my intro. I don't do that. That makes no sense. And my personality isn't geared towards that. I'm trying to get something that might be a little bit, but then it's just gonna sound mechanical.
Okay, but maybe then I should rephrase it like you already have a catchphrase. We discussed it today. That's a phrase that you find yourself repeating. That's something that you want to leave the client.
Oh yeah, that's just
So,
little
Can you?
familiarities.
So what is the phrase that currently you're repeating or that you want to? This is like a basic. Like if you didn't have want to get the whole podcast in writing. That's what I'm asking. Is tell you the question or answer the questions on the basic. What you do?
Well, with the question thing, that's different. It's like I did try to have like repeatable questions, but then again, it's gonna sound a little too mechanical. I want it to be tailored to them. That takes a lot of effort to do that. But it's worth the effort. It's worth the effort because it's genuine, and that's the point. This isn't an assembly line. This is something that is dealing with every time I'm getting a different person going through something different, regardless of what it is. Someone who almost died in an accident, someone dealing with loss like every couple of fucking months or years, losing children, dealing with their, parental hangups, someone on a weight loss journey, someone trying to be a good father and homeschool their kids, and so on and so forth, someone battling addiction. And you're going to tell me, I'm just saying, I'm not saying you're telling me. What I'm getting at is like, how can, it's not a one size fit all with the questions.
Correct. So I didn't say anything.
I know with the questions, but the only way I have a familiarity is that when it came time to it, I was able to come up with that phrase, adelante.
So can you repeat the phrase? 'Cause I wanted you to say it. This is like a new to you. Nobody knows you.
Well, you should.
I am not. I am your.
Why not even say it?
No. Okay, so if fine, I'll chime in. You have a beautiful catchphrase that keeps repeating, and I wanted to hear it. And it's adelante, siempre por tu mente, for always with your mind, for your mind.
Well, that's the thing. It just for some reason that just came to me when I told you. Like I told you, that was when some specific line, like in the Mark Anthony song, I forgot which song it was. He says something like that, like adelante or something like that. And then I mixed it with what I'm doing, and like it just came to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, in those aspects, I want to have some familiarity, some consistency. That's about it, just on the little things.
Yeah, which is beautiful. So what I'm hearing is the FYI letter to the world will be this world is chaotic. There's a lot of loops and turns and directions you can take. But no matter where you are or where you're gonna be, there's always a compass that can lead you to a better way.
And that's the thing. I mean,
And that's why you're leading to, like, or you're just saying, like, when you mention, like, oh, I want people to get out of the loop. So, like, you just gave me all the scenarios that people have gone through to being able to share in life.
Fine. I'm actually just continuing to spin the wheel. How you say all of this, it's already been said generation after generation. Oh, the world's out of control and this and that and things happening year after year. But I'm on the point where I'm helping spin the wheel in a good way. Because what you said now, somebody could have said that 20 years ago. Again, 10 years ago, 5 years ago, 4 years ago, pandemic. So it's like, okay, world hasn't ended yet. Good, thank God. Regardless of what happens in the world, where it keeps doing that little cycle, I'm also doing my part to help with the cycle of good, with helping those moving the ball a little bit forward. So yeah, it's nice to have a little bit of familiarity, and I'm doing the upgrades. I got the new intro from Will, which, works, thank God. I took Kelly, Colombian Kelly. She was the one that was like, no, I listened to these podcasts, and when we went on one of those Yo Digo No Mas walks, and I picked her brain, she was like, no, I listened to this podcast, and they do introductions about the show and do a little summation to get people like that. That idea was hers, and I took. I cherry picked that. I did as best as I could to hold on to the first theme song, but then I wanted to switch it up with the second one. Doing the ads for free for all our friends and their businesses. Maria Trusa, she found people through me. At least one that I know of. Maybe some more, I don't know. I'm not privy to what she deals with and everything else. So it's like, slowly but surely, it only works that way if you're consistent with it. And that's what I want to be, at least with this. Like, fucking consistent.
So, what's one truth you never said out loud?
That's a good question. What's one truth I haven't said out loud? Well, I don't know if it's a truth, but it's like something I ask myself. Like, that's the thing. If it's something like a truth, then it's just, I acknowledge it and move on. But I guess, like, questioning myself, is there anything here? But then I guess the truth I never ignored was, like, I have something here. And I think that's what I kept telling you is, like, I can't, doing other things to make money or to keep busy or whatever. That's the one thing I said. It's like, I can't let this go. It's like I always come back to wanting to do the show, wanting to do this, and move forward with it because I find enjoyment in it. I acknowledge it by continuing to do it rather than say, I don't want to get on a fucking soapbox and say, I got something here.
And that's beautiful. Of asking about Oscar Luna and FYI, and what's one truth that you have not said?
That was it. I never acknowledged, that's the truth. There's something here.
So the truth is that you found your passion project and you're not letting it go.
Yeah, because
you finally tune into it.
Like, this is something that, like, my heart won't let go. Other things I've let go that I've done since I was a kid, like reading comics, which, I would love to find myself going back to, but it's like, that and doing other things that I can't really recall right now. But it's like, there's one of the truths. It's like, regardless of what else is going on, like, this is what I continue to do other than, live and breathe.
What moment broke you open and what did you learn from it?
Just getting rid of the bullshit or my trauma when, after doing the first retreat or my retreat.
Can you elaborate on that a little? Can you elaborate? I don't know. I am just a question.
No, just forgiving myself about the trauma that I've been through. Like, that's the point. It's like that was a big moment for me to, like, not have the weight of that just keeping me down. But then it released all these other things and I'm just dealing with that. I had to do that to deal with the little thing. Like I told you, taking off that one anchor and dealing with all the little anchors that are on me. Forgiving myself for that one trauma, now dealing with the anger, dealing with the self-doubt, dealing with not good enough, dealing with God knows what else. And all the way how I treated myself or how I let other people treat me. You get that one huge fucking thing off of your shoulders, you're going to find out that there's other little things you have to deal with that either came from that, or it's just you never had a chance to deal with it because that one thing was overshadowing everything else. So realizing that, it's like, okay, once you do that, then if you're strong enough, willing enough, able enough, you will start working on those little things and you just get better and better and better.
It's a lot of love. That's a good learning lesson right there. If the mic on your picture so they could talk back, what would it say about you? Well, just think about it. Just close your eyes. And that's it. What comes up for you? What will your mic say about Oscar Lowell?
What would you think it would say about me that you're on the outside looking in?
I don't have enough time. That's another interview. But I could say that you're one of the strongest person I've met. You've been through the fire more than once, but you're giving, you're heartfelt, you're a great father, you're funny, you're very your wisdom. You're very wise with beyond years, and you always been, and that's still also your fortitude. I mean, know you are. I described you before, and I will repeat it here. You're like, whenever I envision you, I feel I see myself look into a mirror, and I go to Harvest, one of the places we like to go eat. But then there's a park, and next to the park, there's one little strip of section like you will go down to the beach, made, or like the parking for the tennis courts. But right there in that little strip of land, there's one big tree. It's like an open space. There's air. There's the water. And there's just one big tree that grew between rocks and it's still standing. And through every storm, it's just there. It's alone, but it has so much beauty, and it feels so much space, and it's so strong, and it's grand. And I see it when I go there at sundown, sundusk, and everything. It just shines everything, makes everything better. So that's my reflection of you. That remember is up somebody that shows understanding, and that you will take your heart out and give it to somebody else if there remains for them to start hurting. So you're very selfless. And I love that about you. It takes a lot to do what you do day in and day out, and then still try to find space for other people. And even when you are writing these questions and I see you try to concentrate and you envision, you already know how you want to make somebody feel. What you just said. And the norm of what I was used to. For questions, people, especially in this lifetime, people want content and they want to push certain things. So it's generic, it could be repetitious, and it could be with a intent of pain in between. But you want to show people's pain, but with truthfulness. You do it with softness. You ask the question diligently, but you guide them to the answers that the audience can grasp and get information. So it's not just what is asked, it's really how you ask it.
So it's a question.
No, but the question, because I love this man and I got overboard, if the mic could talk back, what would it say about you? It will say all the things that I just shared.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Next question, moving on, because you're not going to make love to this man. And that's for later. Oh, who do you imagine listening on the other side of the mic?
To me, it doesn't matter. It's when I check the statistics of the show, it's like you see other countries like pop up on the other side of the world, or the UK, or when you're doing something like this for the first time, you think that somebody's, like nobody's gonna listen to it, and then you see all these like different countries, like the percentages pop up, like, okay, the majority is in the US. Then you see other countries pop up and like, oh, maybe somebody around the world gave me a listen and maybe they got something from it. I mean, who knows? It's like, I don't think of the individual person. I just hope that they got something from it, that it's helping them in what they're dealing with now.
So you envision the audience is people in need.
If they feel something curious about one of the topics and they relate to it, then yeah. because these aren't easy topics. But people going through what they're going through in the world aren't going through anything easy. I mean, shit, some of the things I've been through is like a fucking cakewalk. And I thought it was hard. But then when you realize, you hear the stories about what they've been through, it's like, oh wow. So regardless of what anybody has been through, I want to make sure that as hard as they have their life, that maybe they can get something from it. It's like, I don't have to interview like the top person in pain about what they've been through and their traumas. People with their day-to-day traumas, whatever.
That's great. People like us. Your listeners are on the other side of the ring, are day-to-day people going through their journey and needs a little push.
Yeah, nobody talks about what they've been through, so that's the whole point of it. It's like you see somebody who looks normal, you talk to them, it's like, oh shit, you were raped, oh shit, you were dealing with multiple traumas, abuse in all these forms, bullying, thinking you're a shitty parent, and going through a culture that is, really bad, and God knows what else. And it's, you can't tell. You can't tell until, like that story I told you before. When I was young, I was talking to somebody who was bipolar. I never dealt with that. But you don't know it until you talk to a person. Like really, like talk to her on the phone, and she was like, she stopped, and I thought we were having a regular conversation. She stopped, and she's like, "Why is my face wet?" And what are you talking about? You telling me a story, and then you started crying. She was like, "I was telling you what?" She didn't remember anything from that discussion. And then she came back to herself, like, "Why is my face wet?" Was I crying? I was like, "Well, I don't know what we were talking about," but I'm like, we were talking, you were telling me something, and you started crying. She was like, "What was I telling you?" So it was like talking to two different people. But I was so young, I didn't want to do that. And the one thing I'll never forget, she told me, she's like, "I would understand if you never speak to me again." I don't know how to deal with that. So I never called again. And then imagine how much shit she must have felt like, because that probably happened to her over and over and over again. Because nobody knew how to deal with a bipolar person in the 90s or the 2000s.
Was split personality? Was it like over?
She told me she was bipolar. Whatever. I'm not going to go down a rabbit hole with that. Point is, I'm just saying what was told. What about dealing with that? So it's like, honestly, no, I didn't want to deal with that. As a young kid, I'm dealing with my own bullshit, my own traumas, living in a single parent household. Both of my siblings, they're gone. I'm the youngest. I'm dealing with all my shit. Now I'm gonna deal with somebody who was bipolar. I was like, I don't fucking deal with this. And I did it. That's on me.
Interesting fact, though. Because in that fast forward to a couple years later, then you did get married. And didn't she have the same condition?
No, she didn't have the same condition. She's a fucking idiot. She was young.
Because she was bipolar.
No. She was just as young as me in the mid-20s. Didn't know how to handle her life. Who does at that age? Not everybody. And she's very narcissistic, very only give a shit about herself. And if I wasn't giving her attention, then, the world was fucking coming to an end. I don't deal well with that. Then that's why it all felt to shit. The focus wasn't on us. It was like, what are you doing for me? Like, no, I never responded to that. So I'm like, I started distancing myself. I told her about my traumas. There was nothing there to help. I'm dealing with my bullshit on top of dealing with her bullshit. And then she's putting it on me to like, you have to step up and, make this life for us. I'm in my 20s. I've only been raised by a single parent. And then you're asking me to step up like, somebody who knows how to fucking maneuver life when I'm barely trying to maneuver myself. Like, no, she was insanely fucking selfish. She wanted people to do the work for her, or like me. And I'm like, no, I didn't respond to that either.
Think you didn't, and then you are where you are. And of how you mapped you this way.
I mean, I do have a little bit of anger on that, but it's like, hopefully she's not the same person she is that she was when we got married, because I'm not the same person I was, but that's her life. I'm not concerned about that.
Oh, that was a good answer, and those were good questions. I want to lighten the mold. Maybe ask some questions that will help us with social media voice. And these questions I want to ask so we could craft and co-create your post, which are amazing, by the way. If FYI, I am damaged as a person, how will they talk? Poetic, blunt, funny? Like, can we put a voice to it?
It's just curious. I'm not trying to create a person here. I'm just trying to.
These are the questions that are for fun. It's supposed to be lighting. It's supposed to be lighting the flow. Like, if it was FYI, what would you? Oh, would it be? I don't know what you're into other than.
I wouldn't know what it would sound like.
Would it be a funny, poetic? You have a tone.
It's just somebody that goes with the flow. It's and in the traditional sense, not the hipster sense that they keep using now, which it's insane. I really.
Maybe you make a discovery listen to 10 years from now. What's the saying or the new age?
Yeah, but no, it's
Say you're
a new age. It's like all these hipster people just co-opting grounded statements and making it seem like, oh wow, like I can't with the whole vibration, like oh
That is me. I'm a new age person. I'm about high frequency, alignment, grounding.
Oh my god, the frequency thing.
Oh my God. If you're not in vibing with me, we gotta go. We gotta go. And I need to be in a space where it aligns with my movement, my flow, my joy, and my wealth. So I'm new age. So I get what you're saying.
I'm grounded to the truest sense of the word, and when you are, you see, like you know me. It's like I can kind of tell if somebody's not being genuine, so I don't deal with them because to do this and to make it into something, if there's no genuineness, if that even is a fucking word, you can tell. Like when I interviewed Jessica, it's like she wasn't herself. She wasn't her genuine self. And I told us that, you know what? I'm glad we had a pause for a year when you agreed to do the interview, because this is not the same fucking person I'm talking to. It wasn't. She had a stone face. She would just damn near stare people down and critique every single word out of their mouth and all this other stuff. And like you see her now, she's like she is what she is in the interview. Not saying, I wouldn't have interviewed her. The interview wouldn't have been genuine. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
But then when you deal with a person face to face and talking with them, a lot of people I talk to are like, all they want to hear is, how can you help me? I want to have a conversation with somebody, not on the basis of how can you help me? Because it doesn't work out. They end up using each other and then it doesn't work out. No matter if it's in the short term or the long term, if all you want to do is use people to forward yourself, it's not gonna work out.
Thank you for that reflection. That's a good one. Because it is not shining light, but we're in 2025, and after COVID, I believe conversations and relationships became more transsexual.
And honestly, that's to a person's detriment, because once they finally realize to be the best part of yourself and to be genuine with what you're doing and not in a sort of aloof sense, whatever you wanted to force to go somewhere, then you're going to really understand why it didn't happen. Because you come into the realization that, shit, I wasn't genuine back then. I realized who I was, and I would have did anything to forward my situation, my motives, my passions. And then you realize, yeah, that's why it didn't work out. And I didn't put in the effort that I should have on my end to make it work. I'm not going to sit here thinking that I'm going to record a few words and think I'm going to be the shit. When I realized that and I put in all the genuine effort, then you feel complete with every step that you do. Like for me, is after every interview, I genuinely went in it with what I want to pull from a person for what I'm trying to do. And I don't feel any regret. I don't feel like I should have said this. I don't feel any sort of backpedaling about what I did to ask those questions and get those answers that may be helping somebody once it gets released. Like, I'm good. A little bit drained, but I'm good. And there's nothing fake about it because you can see that. If you have your eyes open, you see it when it's really fucking fake. And when I'm a part of something like that, I just sit there and like watch these people like asking all these generic questions because you didn't want to put in the effort to say, okay, this is the direction I'm going in. And okay, I'll just AI all the questions. Are you fucking serious? I'll AI the topic. I'll do this. I'll do that. Like, it doesn't fucking work. It's not genuine to a person who has his eyes open that's supposed to help you curate the content that you want. Everybody's because everybody's getting this ease of use through AI and all these other methods or trying to take a shortcut. Those people with their eyes open, they know it's not genuine. And then you sit there in front of your computer like, why, why is it not being picked up? Why this? Why that? Yeah, because you got to wait. You got to sit down and wait a while. Because there's other people out there who are 2, 3, 5, 10 years into what they're doing and waiting to take off. So you wait in line. Unless you have something marvelous and you have a work ethic and discipline that is above them, that puts you ahead of the line. Otherwise, you got to wait. Keep grinding. Get better. See where you lack. See where you're strong. Make connections. Network. And keep working on being genuine. That's what people want. That's what people are thirsting for because they're not genuine themselves. And if you're putting out something that's genuine to make them say, you know what? I see how genuine they are and I want to keep refining myself to see how pure I can be. And then you have all those high functioning people that can do stuff that people want to follow. The fucking Goggins,
So thank you for that. I'm in line with that. Authenticity, being genuine is the key. So I'm good and I'm glad that you are who you are and that you stayed in truth. You haven't changed anything from day one. You're waiting for the world to catch up with you.
I'm just trying to find like-minded people. That's all. Billions of people on this planet trying to find a few.
He's so sexy. Anyway, next question. I was just caressing his knee because when he talks to me like this, I was like, let's go upstairs. But anyway, all serious. I love you.
Love you too.
Now, next question. This was supposed to be one-liners, and I love that we're going so deep. But what 3 emotions? Something about that. What 3 emotions do you want people to feel when they read your posts? Because you put so much art into it. That's so much work. What is it that you're pulling out of people?
Curiosity, and hopefully it gets them motivated to do it. And
It's motivation an emotion or an action? I'm talking about emotions, like your color wheel, like how do you want people may feel when they are reading your post?
I mean, whether it's an act, I still want people to feel motivated because people are missing that. Even myself, I'm missing that component.
Okay.
Of being motivated and with the discipline and with the curiosity. It's like you can't just distill it to like a handful of things. It's like that's what a lot of people are missing. And they think that somebody has to provide it. No, you provide that yourself by putting yourself to the test about why am I not like this? Why am I not like this? Oh, me and the person I'm with, we're not motivated. Maybe we'll be motivated if we have a kid. Maybe we're motivated if we get a dog. Maybe we're motivated if we take up a fucking hobby. No, that's forced motivation. That's like telling somebody to calm down. Nobody ever calms down. What's the response? Fuck you, you calm down. It's the same shit with people being forcefully motivated by people who have good intentions, but maybe they have an issue of how they approach other people to get them motivated. Rather than telling them maybe you should do. What are you interested in? What were certain things that gave you a spark? Have you realized that in your life? Motivation doesn't start with a statement. Motivation starts with a question.
in those sense, is somebody will say, for example, I'm gonna put myself in this motivation thing because this is key for me. Life happens, a lot of things happen, and we grow. And there's been versions of me that are not, even this year, like they didn't even recognize. And then I feel like broken. And then like, okay, but you still gotta get up and you gotta move. But what gets me motivated before I don't find joy in it, there will be the dancing or doing certain things. So how do I get
Still shows up from
motivated?
time to time. It still shows up from time to time, but since I'm living this life side by side with you, it's our life has changed as much as we have. And okay, then maybe you might need to find new motivations. You are holding on to old motivations. That's what I'm saying. If I tell you to do this or do that or whatever, motivation doesn't start with a statement. It starts with a question. Where do you see a little spark now that is way different from before? I mean, yeah, you could still hear a song and you can do your two-step, but then what if something else comes on? You don't clean the house with your bachata, you clean it with meditation music.
That's change.
Then you have to acknowledge that, you know what, there's something there, and you have to question, okay, do I have a new motivation? And where is it going with this? And how can it go up instead of either on the level or not moving or going down? Everybody wants to focus on, oh, why it's going so negative. Okay, focus on where it gets positive and then amplify that. Otherwise, you're amplifying the negative and you're just digging yourself a hole you're never going to get out of. Because the same way you could get curious about putting yourself down and tearing yourself up and not going anywhere, then hey, guess what? Do the same thing in a positive way. Build yourself up. Spackle those cracks. And understand that, you know what? While I'm fucking breathing, I'm going to find the joy that I need to find for myself. And maybe if I have kids, fuck, even for if you got a fucking pet. Everybody gets curious about tearing themselves down, but nobody gets curious about building themselves up. You have to acknowledge all the stuff that is there that's trauma-based and everything else, okay, but you don't have to have a cheerleader for all the negative shit. And if you do, then at least have a cheerleader for all the positive shit. Like, it's possible. It doesn't appear out of fucking thin air. You have to create it. You created the negative. Not how hard it is, but it's not impossible to create a cheerleader for the positive as long as you're not hurting yourself or anybody else. But people don't do that.
You understand?
I understand why. But the point is of what I'm doing and speaking these words to people when, you know, I could be in a moment of tearing my fucking self apart. You don't have to do that. It's like you don't. And I see people who have gone through their transformation and it's like, it's more of a realization for me. So I'm cherry picking these other things that they don't even know. And I'm like helping myself out because, all right, I'm ready. You're not just ready because life and the universe, quote unquote, thinks you're ready. Being ready to deal with the change that's coming, that's positive, and that you're like, oh my God, my life's in such a good space is because whatever you've been dealing with to get you to the point to put that behind you, you have been preparing yourself in some way because you've been able to be strong enough to process what you've been through. So that's where it comes with the curiosity. That's where it comes with asking yourself questions. That's where it comes with finally opening your ears up to grounded advice of people who either been through the same thing or at least know how to speak to other people that don't know even how to handle themselves. Because you're asking me, you always listen to this, listen to that, listen to this. And most of the stuff sounds so produced and catered. We're in a great area of people wanting to work on their mental health, but they're just it feels to me they're putting out content just so they could put it out, get the views, get the money. But you have solid people who want to help people through their traumas and get curious about getting better. Like every time I listen to who is it, Gabor Mate, like helping people realize, like, oh, you went through this. You're like, I have this problem. Okay, what did you go through? Yeah, you went through this. Okay, no, that's your trauma. And then have them fucking crying like, oh shit, like that's the trauma because of this, and this is why you're acting this way, and this is why you feel a certain way. Is because people are not acknowledging it. People are not breaking that's the credit to you when you're going through everything you've been through, that you're doing the process, you're doing the work. You got yourself to a point where you can accept that change and be able to change because you've been putting in the work. And when you look at other people saying all these sideways shit, they look at you and can't get the words out of like, how are you like this? You're not the same person who I was dealing with before a couple of years ago. This ignorant, happy-go-lucky, oh, whatever comes my way and blah, blah, blah. And then they see how you are now, and they're stuck on how you were back then, that they can't even accept how you are now because they froze you in time with your personality. So if they froze you in time with your personality, they're not going to accept anything you say now because that's not the person who they were dealing with. And who is ever going to accept any advice from a person that is not the person they've been dealing with since everything stopped? Okay, now we're going to talk, we're going to connect and everything. Oh, wow. You've been through this, you've been through that. Oh, you're not responding the same way I'm not the same person where I was. You expect me, how you knew me in my 20s, to be like this in my 40s? Like I'm some sort of entertainment to you walking through the door? Like I am not a person. You're the only one that grows and matures. You're the only one that gets to figure out life while everybody's your little mental plaything. Then they might be manipulative, but they might not be. They just have these high expectations of things that have disappeared in the past. Like that's done. Then get a fucking time machine and go back to how you like dealing with people in that point of time. Because I've dealt with people who just freeze people in time that they've dealt with. Oh, you're not doing this anymore? Oh, you don't do this or you don't do that. And I remember when you used to do this. Like, yeah, because I'm more fucking grown now. I'm mature. I'm more introspective. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. I've grown. Sorry to disappoint you. Learn to know me. If not, then have a nice life.
That could be a call, learning to me. Which this is we should definitely have our own powwow conversations because this is turning very deep and I like it. And I like, well, that was again my next question. You answer, what's a one-liner that hits like a punch to the gut?
Well, you tell me. I guess I must have said a bunch of them.
Well, you just said one. Then you and me, we're going to this world, showing up to the world to be a servant.
For me, the one that always stuck was, and look, I'll show you how to edit an audio and you put it out as an episode for your thing. But the point is like, well, the one thing that I don't know if I did it out of anger or whatever, but it got me upset, and it has nothing to do with her because she's been nothing. She's one of the few genuine people in my life, Maria. And she just brought it up as a curiosity to be like, look, the name of your show is coming off negative to people, or at least this person that reached out to me. And she told me, she's like, the person was like, but I'm not damaged. I'm not damaged. Okay, whatever. Then we had that talk. We was in bed. We were talking about it. And it's like when I came back from the retreat and I told you the story, that one thing that is like, it's like Maria's like, she was really triggered by it. I don't know who this person is. I don't to this day. I don't know. She don't want to tell me. I don't know if Maria still talks to her because Maria was like, you really should consider renaming your show or something. Like she did it out of love. That's the thing where it's like, you see the genuine of a person because they love you. They want to help you. They don't want to use you. And they see that you're working towards something. And then I told you, I was like, you know what? I'm not going to let someone else's triggers blow my brains out. And then I said, you know what? Fuck it. Sink or swim. I'm not changing the fucking name. I don't care because when I did my friend's health fair, that gesture from that lady who I never seen again, and I hope I do, when she walked by and she saw the name in my pocket, she's like, when I read it, I felt it. That's what I'm going for. Not somebody that's like, I'm remembering my traumas and I can't deal with this and overload. And okay, you were ignoring yourself. You were ignoring what you've been through. I've been through that whole fucking thing. I've ignored it till I exploded. Had to deal with it, then bottled it up and kept it. Same fucking cycle until I had to deal with it, or I would have lost everything. That's one of the things that stick with me because I want to antagonize people to be curious about the fucking trauma. It says, you know what? Enough's enough. Enough's enough with the bullshit trauma thing. Face it, get past it, and deal with the other bullshit that's hitting you day to day. Put it behind you so you could get used to it. You could put everything behind you and be a stronger person for it. Will you be ultimately healed? Probably not. At least you'll be better off than what you were as you were.
Full transparency. I think I mentioned that to you before, Maria, about the, hey,
No, you had your doubts. You had your doubts about it. You had your doubts about the name. You had your doubts about the length of the episode. You had your doubts about the people I interviewed. You had your doubts about the questions and everything. And to me, I just attributed that you saw somebody, you are experiencing somebody who is doing something that you wish you would have came up with and done. And honestly, I think you kind of expressed that. You had like a what about me moment. Like, why do you get to find your passion? Why do you get
yes,
to find something that you love and that you doing alongside your career, and that's all you're talking about and this and that? You had your moments, but you got curious about it, you processed it, and you're not that person bringing up all these things. And I didn't let all those things get to me because I was so passionate about it that it's like, no, whatever you're saying has nothing to do with how I'm feeling about this that hit me like a fucking ton of bricks and has put me in front of strong people, insightful people, and has, who knows where it's going to take me.
well, it's a lot. And like I said, thank you for listening. And in full transparency, thank you for, again, understanding where I was and seeing me for where I was. And I realized also, I just want to share for my sake, right? That, I mean, there was so many versions of me. And one, maybe definitely fear driven. I was sheltering, like comparing what other people were doing and assuming you should be doing it this way. You will get more audience if it's shorter because I was mapping out people's distancing or over analyzing it just for traction. That I missed the whole part about the difference what you're trying to do in the world. Like you express it in your authenticity. If it feels right for you, this is how you're gonna do it. You are your own voice, your reasoning. And about you, it's like we say, I'm walking slow while taking my time, and I'm catered to this because I am not racing with the world. The world needs to catch up and slow down to me. And until the world does, I will be here.
Who am I racing against? It makes no sense. You have people from different generations that are in different places in their life, that are from different times. Like, who am I racing? I'm not racing anybody. There isn't a race. There isn't a race. People think thinking they're in competition, when if you have the drive, the talent, the motivation, the discipline, and God knows what else, you set yourself apart, that the only person you end up racing is yourself. I'm not racing anybody. There are different sort of areas where that could kind of seem like what you're doing, but even then, you're not racing anybody. Like comedians, they all come up together, and then one's a fucking huge superstar. The other people, they're doing a room for 20 minutes for like $50. They started with the same person that's making millions and selling out stadiums. And they want to think that, oh, we were all together and then we all, but who are you racing? You're not racing anybody. I'm not racing anybody. There's how many fucking podcasts out there? If I figure I'm racing people, then I lose the real reason why I did it in the first place. So if everybody wants to think that they're racing somebody, you're creating your own coffin that you're gonna eventually be buried in. And that's something that's optional. Whether you step in it or not, like, you're gonna be okay. There's no fucking race. I gotta do this. I gotta do that. Oh my God, somebody's, yeah, you know what? Somebody probably came up with that idea before you did and never pulled the trigger on it. And you came up with the idea. Go. Be the best at it.
That's a very good one-liner because we were in the past. What's a one-liner that hits like a punch to the gut? I like that. Go. Be the best at it. And just repeating what you say because I love everything you say. And then you don't remember the catchphrases, so I just repeated that one. What's a one-liner that feels like a hug? Because in the other one, you just push somebody like, go, vete, be the best at it. You forgot to fly, that's your problem. No, but seriously, what we do for the ones that are deeply hurt, the ones that are, sometimes they can't even get up. They know they need to get up, and they get out, gotta get out the door, and it's like, I don't even know how to move. There are those. What's a one-liner that feels like a hug?
It's nothing specific, but it's more of what a person does from what I've seen and what I've done for people. And even what has been done for me is like it's a sense and a feeling. It's what makes you feel acknowledged. It's no line or anything like that because it could come in different forms. Like what makes you feel acknowledged as a human being, not as a person, not as a woman, not as a man, not as a kid. What makes you acknowledged as a human being? I've been in places where at that fucking job at the college, they didn't treat you like a fucking human being. They didn't approach you as a human being.
For
They
those
didn't
things, I mean,
no, they didn't regard you as a human being. And it doesn't matter. I don't, in the good or bad, I don't want to put a spotlight on the.
deceased.
There's a community college in the Bronx that I used to work for. At that point in time, I don't know how they are now. They're fucking horrible. The people working there are horrible. And the only genuine people that I met, and I reached out to one of the people there, and I'm trying to get in touch with Mike. I finally figured out his name, but I fucking lost his number. The one who was from the South, that he went through a lot of racism. So I reached out to Will, and I'm like, does he still work there?
That's
Like, can you give him my number? Because I want to talk to him. He lives in fucking Yonkers. He lives in Warburton. And I lost her. I'm even probably even want to go fucking down there to see if I can see him face to face. Like, I don't know.
that would be nice to show up your face. But what two people are horrible? Because that's judgment. So we're pretty judging by now.
But yeah, that's just me looking backwards temporarily. That's just something that I've dealt with. Like I said, I don't know if they are like that now. I don't know if the people are still are there now. I don't know if they bettered themselves. But that's not something that I'm trying to answer. It's just something that I've been through and that's done with.
And then you understand where they come from.
Whether or not I do, it doesn't concern me anymore because I'm past that. I'm just giving my experience of what I've been through. Because even then, when I was editing the show and going through some audio files, I found one of the audio recordings that I did of like the meetings that we had. And it's just like, we're trying to make you a better person by pulling you through the fucking coals. And it's like, that doesn't fucking work.
What do you mean with it?
Just the way that they were, I'm trying to explain something, trying to make them understand. And they're like, yeah, but it's not about that. It's not this and that. And they're just, it's putting a person who does what I do, thinks how I think, and then trying to deal with that on like a work setting where all they're doing is protecting themselves and going through this sort of regimen of like, you have to do it this way, you have to do it. It goes like this. We're focused on this. You're not discussing. And I'm like, I wasn't built for that. So that's why I never fell in with their bullshit. And then dealing with other people's traumas, managing people who were so spiteful and viewed anybody that looked at them a different way or said anything as an enemy. If you're not being a cheerleader for me, you are my enemy. Everybody was there was so combative. Everybody there was so, they were never trusting of anybody else. And then someone comes in with a good heart and just wants to do their job and work, and I'm not doing the things the way they want me to, the way that I need to do it for them, and how they were their expectations of me in that position it was to the point where, okay, we put somebody in, if they don't get it, then they get out. And I never got it. I never got it with them. And then dealing with all the other bullshit outside of it, I'm like, no, that's it. I'm done. I cannot. The money was good, but it's like the people from the top down were horrible at dealing with other people. And then that one guy got upset at me because I looked at him. I'm like, you are so, and I told him straight to him, you are so frustrating to deal with, because he was so regimental and he hated everybody there. He hated the CIO. He hated all the people that he worked with because they made fun of him. They hated his style and how he worked and everything like that. So when I told him, I was like, and he was a very frustrating, he was a frustrating person, because you have to say it this way, you have to do it this way, or it has to be some uniformity and this and this and that, always judging people as so freaking negatively that if they weren't like him, then they weren't good enough. If they didn't do it like him, they weren't good enough. And he had his own trauma. He had his parents that died when he was young and all this. So he went through same thing, another fucking trauma-driven person in that place, one after another, after another, after another. So fucking trauma-driven that it was, I couldn't deal with it. And then everybody talking about, we got to work together, this and that, like, that's never going to happen. And that's why it never worked out. On top of the other shit outside dealing with, that it's like, you know what, I can't be a functioning human being with this. And honestly, that's where the pettiness came out of me. I think I told you when I was leaving, that when the CIO walked me out, I looked at him and I'm like, even then, I remember when I was recalling this when I was talking to with Shannon, we were going to Vermont, getting all this stuff going on and, you know, resigning and everything like that. And he walked me out. They locked me out of everything. I looked at him and I'm like, I said, you know what, sir? I said, I really wish they take the leash off of you. And I meant it, but I also hope that shit hit him in the fucking balls. Because, no, I felt this pain. He would walk around saying, I don't give a shit about anybody and what they think of me and this and that. But then he got pissed off when I was doing something. They had an event go on. It went off without a hitch. The president of the college gave him a shout out about how something went well. I gave him a little pat on the ass about, oh yeah, you did a good job. You know, he was excited about it. And then something happened where somebody needed something fixed or worked on, and somebody under me just threw it to another person in another department in IT, and that asshole knew. He was like, no, they're supposed to work on it. This help desk person just threw it to us to be like, no, you guys do it. But of course, if you're a manager, you take the fucking heat for it. And I can't sit there in front of my boss telling him, well, they threw it to her, so it's actually their fault and this and that. No, they were kicking the shit out of me for what they did, because they didn't do their job properly, because they didn't want to do their job properly. And then that asshole was like, I'm not touching this, even though it's a high-ranking person. Fuck it. And then goes snitching to the CIO saying, oh, they did this, they shouldn't have, and still didn't touch. Because you know what? He was even on a leash to the managers there, no matter how hard he rode them. And you remember all those meetings that I recorded where he was always threatening people like, I will fire you. I can find somebody to replace you, but never replace them. But knowing he was beholden to them because they were there longer and they knew how the place ran. And if they left, he would be stuck in the middle of the ocean without a fucking paddle. So I looked him dead in the eyes and I told him, I hope one day they take the leash off of you. Letting him know you're their fucking dog and that they're kicking the shit out of you the way you kicked the shit out of me. All you wanted to do was make shit work. Talk this big fucking game on how he was getting millions of dollars of grants from the government and doing this and consulting. Then fucking do that then. Why live in fucking the ass end of Staten Island to come to the South Bronx to take a CIO job when you're so fucking qualified for something else? Like, you just running game just like everybody else. So I saw the bullshit in all of them. Like, I'm glad I got out of there. With everything that was happening personally wise, it's like, no, I'm glad I got the fuck out of there. And it's like, now you realize, like, when I keep saying, like, dealing with people with this who fucking trauma, just dealing with that shit at work. We would sit face to face in his office, and he would tell me how he even hated his secretary, because as soon as he started, something happened. Somebody gassed her up to make a complaint to HR about him. He lost his shit, and he never trusts her. And he's just saying, I just got to deal with them. And he was saying this shit to me about them, maybe because I was new, maybe because I'm a type of person a lot of people open up to, even in such a negative way about things. And I'm sitting there like, why the fuck are you telling me this? I got to see these people every day. And it's like, when that started happening, that's when I knew, like, oh shit, like, things don't get on the level here, like, I'm fucked. That's enough of that with them.
Let's go. This is what we're gonna get to happen.
Or
Just processing.
it doesn't come up enough that, yeah, it kind of less the venom lessons every time I talk about it. I never really talked about, even in the 6 months working there, it was just, no, nobody should go through that. Nobody should go through that. And if they knew how to handle people in a more contemporary way than all that old school shit, but then again, they were dealing with people who were controlling them that did the same shit to them. It's like that saying from the 50s, the guy gets kicked in the ass by his boss. He comes home, he punches the wife smacks the kid kicks the dog. That was a daily thing for them. And I got to experience that, and that only enforced in me on how to treat people. So the question would be like, oh, like, what's the good thing about whatever? It's just, it would go with a feeling of how to acknowledge somebody.
Oh yeah, what's a one-liner that feels like a hug?
Yeah, and somebody feels acknowledged in whatever way that comes in a statement. People are lacking that, and even older people who are stuck in certain ways, it's like, the fuck I gotta acknowledge somebody for? Okay, that means you're fucking thirsting for acknowledgement that you never got from somebody, so you're walking around with this fucking sour face all the time because nobody understands you. And I've been guilty of that, but I've been through enough bullshit to know that, you know what, people don't deserve that. Because trust me, I wasn't the worst person there. There was somebody there who, their fucking mom was one of the top people there. And surprise, surprise, his mom was one of the top people there. He worked in the IT department. Who happens to take him on to be a mentor to him? The CIO. Like, everybody knew, like, oh yeah, you take him on as a mentee? We all know who his mom is. If his mom come walking down the hallway swinging a sword, chopping people's head off, there ain't nothing nobody could do about it. And then you happen to take his son under your wing. Like, come on. People saw that shit from a mile away. The dude wasn't a bad guy. He just wasn't motivated at doing his job.
Can you process that?
And honestly, there's nothing there to process because it's like, you're seeing things play out.
Correct. Well,
Is against how a good way of treating people, not just in a work environment, just a good way of treating people, and not just playing favorites or
yes.
playing a stupid strategic game to get what you want. It's like, for them, it was just like playing checkers with gold pieces, thinking that they're playing chess. It was so fucking asinine. And that's what that place is. Everybody's thinking they're being clever. Like, one person summed that shit up so fucking well. It's like, working for CUNY or working for this college is like you're working for the fucking mob, because everybody on the top upper echelon levels control shit, and all you're trying to do is get in their good graces. So you don't have somebody visiting you with a fucking baseball bat in their hands saying, like, what's going on? Why am I here? Why are you making me do this to you? Because that's all it was. It was like, that's how it always felt. It's like somebody walking in, or they come into my office, like, why are you making me do this to you? And that's one of the things I'm still processing, because it's like, you feel like I don't deserve this. Am I walking around doing some bullshit, taking advantage of this system? Like, no, I'm here to do my fucking job. But if I don't do it the way you want me to, or what have you, or guiding a person who's doing this for the first time, no, getting the fucking bat put to me every fucking day. Like I told you about, they put that fucking half an autistic kid or whatever the fuck was wrong with him, that he wasn't a person you shouldn't put on the help desk. And then he gets mad when I confront him about something. We resolve it. I apologize. I act like I'm hiding it under the rug. And there's more to it with that story. You don't do that to a person. You don't. Jumping to conclusions and assuming things just because someone else you've known longer, you take their side and not taking certain things into account. And this is why everybody there, they had one foot out the door. Especially with that one dude that was under me. Took advantage of everything he could have fucking done. And then when he found another job and was leaving, you could give a fuck. And since he's been there so long and knew the ins and outs, they were like, ugh, like now we gotta deal with him leaving.
And in his shoes, wouldn't you have done the same?
No, because when I left my job for them, I didn't leave swinging a hammer and leaving holes in the wall. But the point of this is, I feel, is that it goes with what my listeners should be provided with, is that you have to put yourself on a path to processing all of that. And one way of doing that is discussing it. Like that's a pain point in my life that I'm doing my best to release, the way someone could be releasing abuse, someone could be releasing other types of trauma. Like this was like, for me, this was like workplace abuse, workplace trauma. And you can't get past it by ignoring it. You can't get past it by saying, oh, well, I'm not there anymore. But then you see a news article about something and it might reference something else that may have you thinking about whatever the fuck. And then you're just upset about it. And that's my point, is that if this process does not present itself, you cannot get past it. You've gotten better by leaps and bounds from where you were before doing your retreat. And even though you still had our work to do and other stuff that happened, it's like, from my experience, you're way better. We had this discussion before, prior to everything else. But again, it's a process, and that's what people don't realize. There's no on and off switch to be like, okay, I'm not better, now I'm better. No, it's more like a fucking dial switch. And if you don't process it, then you can't turn the fucking dial and get to a better spot to at least deal with whatever it is that gets you so amped up. Like I do my quick processes when we're driving. Somebody does something, cuts me off, what are they? Fucking asshole. That's my let it out and get past it. Those are my little quick one-offs. These are my heavier things. These are like the anchors that I'm getting rid of from after I got rid of that one huge anchor of trauma. So it's not an easy process. And when people realize that, they can take a deep breath and be like, okay, let me level my head and get to it. Because it's going to take some work. People are too afraid of that work.
It took a lot. This is a lot. This is great. And knowing or more personally, as you know, I want to make like the corporate cure. Like I see the issue.
That name's already taken.
But I'm working towards as well as one of the passion projects, because when you show that reflection of the 1950s.
But you know what also, sorry to cut you off, you know what it also shows is that people who do what they do for others aren't infallible. So if I'm putting out my show and speaking what I said just now, somebody in a negative state, oh, he's a fucking hypocrite. No, I'm not a hypocrite. How am I a hypocrite? I'm the same person as another person dealing with their bullshit that is like, okay, I got shit to process. So I am no better than anybody else, regardless of how I present myself, do my thing in these interviews and everything like that. Guess what? I'm a human fucking being that is doing his best to be better day by day. When people don't even do anything day by day, they do it once a month, every quarter, once a year. Like, okay, if I'm doing myself better day by day and you doing something once a year, thinking you're getting relief by going on a 2-week fucking vacation and you're better for it, then yeah, have fun decades down the line being better than I am in like a handful of years. And that's the difference. Because no matter who is out there putting out good, understand that they are just another human being. And if you don't see that they can spit a little venom, they can be a little painful, they can whatever. They're just a fucking human being going through something. Same way you were going through something, and now you getting all fucking judgy. And people have to stop that. If they had less judgment and more insight, you will move differently.
This is a lot. And this is like a whole topic for me. Because you share so much. I learned so much right now for you. Well, you're definitely too much. I see you. And I see the growth. Because I am you. Whether I was in the corporate world, I see the disequilibrium. And I will go back to the first job when I met you. You were paralegal for X many years, giving in your heart out just to be seen and acknowledged. You have a pure, kind heart, and you've been through so much on your own. And you were able to go extra mile. You were the paralegal that was the IT guy, who was the messenger, who was the paper boy, with your golden heart, doing it all. Doing it all alone for a long time, even before that image that I just post on your brain. And even then, you remember someone's attorney's son started working, and then they got chosen. And all your hard work and value and labor here doesn't matter. The reflection was a hardworking man, kind-hearted, honest, truthful, is not worthy, because who you know is valued more. And then fast forward, you start working in different departments in New York City. And then you have to actually learn that there is a scaling scale, and there's hierarchy, and our lives and how we go. Yeah, we're kids of immigrants, and we need to do this and we need to do that and show up. And then it's like we never get to level out the staircases in these departments. And you end up doing FDNY. And in the FDNY, what did they teach you? It was a brother's game. It's who you do. These are men retired for X amount of years, so they've been sweeping each other's secrets under the rugs. And when I go back and you got mine, and it's this network and this connection, and you have to be in it to be.
That wasn't everybody, but there
was a lot.
I know.
But I'm just throwing the reflectors in there. And my share was also to see how you left from there, and how things turned up, how somebody tried to use you to put blame on you and cover their own tracks for illegal stuff. The only person, again, keeps showing up, trying to teach and better everybody else as soon as you work in your room. And then remembering all that as well. You even have to jump. I'm sorry, I wanted to pause it because this is a share to you. Because I wanted to process this with you, how the growth came. And I'm sorry that I took so long, but I wanted to know that I see you. Because Oscar, you left there unhappy, and you felt ashamed and a lot of guilt. And now you have a better way to provide and be this and that. And it's another scheme. But in that time, you didn't have to play anyway. You see it and you spoke up and you stood up. And you're the trailblazer. That's who you've been, the trailblazer. You are here to light fires.
I get it. What's the other questions? Like, it's like I don't do well with that, you know that. But it's like,
I need it. So for me, baby, I haven't been here for you for a while. I love you. I'm feeling so much for you right now. And I just wanted to let really.
but that's something that I've been putting behind me, regardless of how it's coming out. It's just nobody wants to. It's a lot of people aren't receptive to what other people go through, and I'm just speaking more for myself rather than needing acknowledgement for something. And I appreciate that you're giving it to me, but it's like I'm in my. There's no but to it, but I'm in my acceptance of it to get past it. I know you're giving me the rub on the back and be like, look, this, but here's the thing of what people have to do that, and they don't have someone like you giving them that sort of acknowledgement. If they can give themselves that self-acknowledgement, that self-processing, and be aware of that, that's what I want to do. That's what should be done, because you're empowering somebody to speak out what they're going through and verbalize it. And in the same turn, once they're done, acknowledging themselves, because they don't have nobody that acknowledges them. They don't have anyone that cares for them. And they have to learn how to care for themselves. And that's the point. Like with when just today, like I'll tell you right now, this guy put up something in the group, and I looked at it and I made sure, like I said something about it, about something with ChatGPT and everything like that, about teaching kids how to use it and leverage it. But in the space I'm from, and being genuine, and I hate doing this because I see people doing it. I fucking hate when they do it. They're like, but I'm not saying that they're not being genuine. Like, it's stated by default. He's one of the most genuine people I know, regardless of what he's been through and what he's done and everything like that, about kids using ChatGPT and everything like that. And it's like, okay. But then I wrote, that's good. And another route to process in the near future, so that it can also be planned to let the kids know to enhance your own being, and learning in this space to be the source for others. So it's a good leadership path that uses AI as a pillar rather than a crutch. That's what I've been getting on you about using AI like it's not an advantage. It's getting to the point where people using it as a crutch. And it's like, so it works for adults too. I never lean heavy on AI. It's more of like, it can be a digital muse, something that can respond in you, like how another person can respond, and how ideas bounce back and forth and something is birthed out of that. People use this as the de facto information and structure, and it gave me all of this, then I got to use this 100%. Like, no, genius. Guilty. It's like, use it to inspire something that you may have had a roadblock to. Use it as something to inspire because you had writer's block. But if you use it 100% of the content that it gives to you, you're the most ungenuine person I've ever fucking met. Because again, it's not genuine. It's not coming from your fired brain cells that has came up with an idea that you have to flesh out and make it better time after time. Refine, refine, refine. This is the finished product, rather than help me figure out this, and this, and this, and this. So to ingrain that in kids, you will get more kids that will be able to use the tools at hand, rather than a weak body using a fucking exoskeleton to lift the heavy weights. Because they could never do it if they actually put their fucking hands on it. If you had somebody using AI from day one, and then somebody's like, you're a fucking fraud, sit here with a piece of paper and a pen and write me all these things that you've been writing, that you've been sending to me via email, write me something that sounds like everything that you've been doing. Because no, they're sitting there with the fucking webpage open, putting in the prompts, and then sending that to everybody. To me, that's not genuine. Okay, if that's your model, let's see how long that lasts. Because the real people you want to have surround you are not going to see you as genuine. And I have that problem with people leaning heavy on AI, because then your words have no soul. And then whenever you hear everybody throwing that shit, I want to connect to this person, this and this and that, well, you're connecting to the most hollowest fucking generation ever. If you do nothing to put your soul and spirit into the things that you're backing, fucking hollow. Learn to be better. Learn to speak better. Learn to write better. And have it come from you. Okay, you're having a little trouble. You're not as fancy or polished or whatever. Like, I could write a good game, but you hear me talking, I sound like a fucking moron. But even before AI, when I write really well.
I could testify for that. I would love with your writing.
And that was even before AI, because I made the effort, because I backed it with, my heart and everything else. There has to be some middle ground because people need to use it and not be a fucking slave to it.
I'm so happy with our response to that. I hope it was in the whatever one that's a group so I could shine some light into it. Oh, this was a heavy conversation.
Make questions you gotta love.
We could skip. We could definitely skip because I was gonna want to get your ideas and insights.
But do it now because who knows when you're gonna be able to do it.
So should I pause this and go to the phone? Yes.
Oh, just keep going. Stop doing that.
It's gonna be 46 minutes. And this case the gas in the hour for them.
An interviewer is the most shittiest person to interview.
Guys, I actually thought they're like, are you kidding me? This is the one that writes all those beautiful sample questions. I was like, no, what I meant on this question is I have to explain the question 3 times. Like, oh my god, you should read on flow. But I thank you for giving me the validation because I was like, am I judging my boo? I don't know. But the next section I wanted to discuss because we're in creative space and we're in the mood is for merchant identity. For FYI, like identity for where we're taking steps of FYI, I am damaged with the questions I've been asking, like with it, who you are, how you want the social media page, and now it's like identity and what you want, because everything we will put a tag on becomes and we create and take it out into the world becomes that. So again, I know you don't want to be in the future, but it's just who we have to visualize our thoughts to actually magnetize. So if you saw someone walking down the street and they have this beautiful, is white, cut, nice city, and the texture is perfect. It's a FYI shirt. What would it say?
Like if they had if I ever get that off the ground, my merchandise, that they enjoyed it enough to buy it, and that I don't know what it would say. At least, I mean, look, I'm not trying to make a movement. I'm trying to make people a little bit more aware. And if awareness is a movement, okay, whatever. I'm just trying to make people walk a little differently about understanding a person, their fellow human being, or even they don't have to. It's just understanding yourself. If you understand yourself, that's that goes out. So at least you can see other people and you can plant the seed there. They could plant the seed there. And then if so on and so forth. That's all I care about. I'm trying to make some change out of it. I mean, still, that's hard enough to do on its own. It can help people in that certain way, that slow way, then fine. But if seeing somebody with something that I can put out there, then, that'd be great. I guess life is telling me, like, look, you're not there yet. It can say whatever.
Okay.
As long as they understand.
But we're in this creative space, so I'm getting out of all your share real quick. Beautiful, who you are. I don't remember if it's Plato or Aristotle who has this quote, but it's know thyself. I see that on a FYI t-shirt. Know thyself and get curious, right? Like, what would somebody know thyself? I know who I am. I'm, the motherfucker thing, or I have this, or I have that, and that's as soon as they start answering that.
But then again, it's the curiosity about actually attempting to understand the person that lives in that skin and what they've been through.
Well, that's what I realize that people will start answering the question with things they don't even realize it, right? And my thing is, how come if people are not responsible for what they don't know? If nobody taught them certain things, the world shouldn't be expecting that.
But that's fine. The world doesn't have to. They have the individual person, especially if it's a negative response, needs to know where that came from. And a lot of people are ignoring that.
Because they don't know that they need to know. They understand in the overall.
That's why I'm trying to get out there what the messages I'm trying to get out there. There's an issue why when we do our thing, there's more effort on the women's side than the men's side. Because at least even if it's a misfiring of the connection, there's at least some emotional connection that gets them coming back and being more involved than the men do. And that's the most hardest fucking thing to do is get men to acknowledge their mental health or lack thereof. So it's to get them to, even when I don't want to do it, I still show up to be supportive. And it's like, okay, Oscar's always there. Like, yeah, all right, there's nothing wrong with it. Let's go. Like, join in. Like, I'm surprised the dude that we met today, he remembered who I was.
Yeah, and this is the first guy I got insulted. Not insulted. But it was the first time that I got introduced as that's Oscar's wife. I mean, that's Argie, Oscar's wife. Like, what? Oscar knows more people than me? This so everybody revolves around me. And he's always home with it. He misses all the time. And then realized he went to Oscar at night and they did meet. And he came and Oscar in Crescent and connected with him so well that he remembered my name, right, Nick?
I am not.
And what my name is was like, oh, your name is Silver. Like, oh, yes. A lot of people don't even know that. It's like, yeah, so are you Argelia Luna? Like, and
You came in second place. That's fine.
okay, sorry, I forgot to say it. And then Argelia Luna, and like Silver Moon, like, no, I'm Argelia Rosario, not Argie Luna. But now that you mentioned it, I am going to push because that makes so much sense.
That's why you said that.
She's so nerd. Love you. Love you. So next question. That was like a like a
Me got love.
that's what I said. We could cut it.
Yeah, that's bunch.
I want.
If you did this long enough, you would see which some are pretty repetitive. Again, that's just me. Again, it's hard to interview somebody who interviews people.
Very. Has but threatened.
No, it's you want a tip? Go next time you do this, go over your notes. Go over your notes, and you're gonna see that because I started learning how to do that. I thought my questions were shit. I'm gonna ask all of them, and then you would start seeing the repetitive nature. You would be like, no, I don't want to really answer this one. No, it doesn't. A timeline of how somebody's telling a story and they don't know the questions and they don't know what they're gonna say. You have to figure that out with asking questions that go from beginning, middle, and end. And I learned that's the hardest fucking thing to do. Doing it from scratch. Talk to somebody. What do you want to talk about? I want to talk about this. Okay, I'll have the questions ready for you. And I have to, that's why you said when you see me sitting down, have the music going. And I'm thinking like, okay, how the fuck am I gonna do this? How am I gonna begin this? Getting a story wrapped up, getting them talking, getting to a crescendo, and then leveling it out to end it. And that is hard until it becomes easy. And the only way that happens is you continue to keep doing it. Unless you're some fucking savant that can understand it, do it in a heartbeat, fine. But otherwise, to have that mechanical thing go on in your head, and people can probably do that with AI, yes, but again, it's not fucking genuine. Because there's going to come a point in time where people who use it enough, but not as in a genuine sense, they're going to realize, like, yeah, you speaking like how an AI prompt would speak. Like, I already see it. I already see it. The way people ask it, like the questions, I'm like, yeah, I know you already churned that through.
Yeah.
And it wasn't refined to have your flavor of it to do that. And I'm lucky I do that before AI came about, so that even if I do get writer's block and use this, again, using it as a muse to be like, okay, it gave me pretty good questions. It's always going to ask and format it in the way that it speaks. And if you do it long enough, you can identify an AI accent by basically the content 9 times out of 10. And if you don't refine it to have it give you an inspiration of be like, okay, I'm not going to ask this question, but it made me think of another question. And again, you're using it as a sort of digital muse rather than a fucking crutch. And we use each other as a muse all the time. People do that with other people. That's why if somebody's doing it by themselves, they don't come up with anything of substance more than when they're working with someone else who has a different point of view and a perspective. You just have something that's churning out data. That's not even a perspective in a sort of natural sense of how humans do it. Yeah, we process data and all that stuff. So you can technically say, no, you're wrong. Yeah, okay, that's on a technical sense. But again, you're getting technical, not on a passionate sense of what you're trying to relay. You feel the monotony against the content that actually has soul behind it. Like there's a difference, I feel.
That's a little tricky too, though, because what they're saying we're building AI as it goes. Every time we speak to it, we are putting our soul into it. So but wait, that doesn't. Can I?
I'm just talking about the content. I'm not.
But even the content, though, I want to understand this, because everything you say is factually, yeah, it makes sense. But again, because there's two realities here.
But it's just a point of view.
Yeah, okay. But with you building and putting your soul into it, because it creates imprint of you.
Not
Right?
necessarily. I haven't. It doesn't come across with the stuff that I put into it as if like, oh, this is the digital representation of me.
Like AI difference is gonna be at the 38.
But I mean that's a whole rabbit hole that honestly I don't really want to go through.
But I see all your point, and it just no, we're gonna have these two realities, right? And I love this one.
There's only one. It's just the two different perspectives, and it's what is somebody gonna tolerate with the content that's being put out there in this way. Same thing that's gonna happen when the fucking printing press, where you have newspapers mass produced, and then no, I liked it when somebody was manually turning the wheel and pressing the letter pins that imprint on the paper, and like that was more, that's an artisanal newspaper or whatever. Now you got something that a machine is pumping out 10,000 newspapers a minute. And it's the same fucking thing. Have a manual press or printing press like that, regular mail, email. We go through this fucking cycle all the time. Then it's like the internet came out, everything's going faster and faster and faster. Like, right, whatever. People are looking at this through new eyes when it's like, okay, no, this shit has happened in the past before. It's what happens with technology. It makes us leapfrog every single time something new comes out. How are you willing to deal with it? Balance it. Don't go fucking screaming the sky is falling. Balance it. We didn't fucking die when the internet came out. We changed with it because somehow we fucking balanced it.
How would you balance?
What I'm saying is just put more of your own input in it. Again, use it as inspiration, not as your replacement. Start it off there and let's see where it goes.
Beautiful. I think our kids want us, so maybe I could just go to a fast forward vision from your eyes in 1 year. What does the I am damaged look like?
Oh, yeah. Hopefully I have a staff. I don't know. That'd be nice.
That'd be nice. So it looks like
More
offices.
people to interview, and like if I can make my passion the main thing, then it'll be nice.
We could make it. I think we can. In 5 years, what impact do you want FYI I am damaged to have made?
I mean, honestly, that it makes someone realize their self-worth because of what they hear somebody else go through, and they do something about it because they feel like they were sitting around doing nothing, and then they heard a story and made them do something. That's all. That's been since day one, since I got hit with this idea to help people.
Beautiful. Worthy. That's my one. What's the most healing thing someone ever said to you?
The person from the health fair, that she said that she got it, that she understood it, because that's what I wanted, and that's what anybody wants, is to be understood without explaining.
You're so sexy. I've been trying to convince me for years to write a book.
I'm not.
Okay, fine. The last question I'll let you be, and this one's more for me. What's the message you want your sons or future generations to hear through your work?
Hopefully for them to realize that this is what probably make me be a better person and maybe better for them. Nothing else matters, and That's what I keep trying to fix about myself, just to be better for the ones I love. Just get rid of all the noise.
That's beautiful. Thank you for partaking on this experience with me and going on the journey and being patient.
Ambushing me into an interview.
Yes. This braindump subsided me and he helped me better understand you and connect with you and join your mission and be here for you in unison way. So, love you.
Love you too.
If you're still here listening, maybe it's because something in this conversation sounded a lot like your life. Maybe you've been carrying stress so long you don't even remember what it feels like to breathe without pressure on your chest. Maybe your passion is the only place you still feel like yourself, and everything else feels like survival. But here's what I want you to take with you after this episode. Passion is not an escape. It's your proof that you're still alive inside under all that weight. You don't have to be fully healed to build. You don't have to have it all figured out to create something that matters. Sometimes healing doesn't look like a soft sunrise. Sometimes it looks like choosing to keep moving even when your hands are still shaking. If all you do after this is take one honest breath and say, I'm still here, and I still want more for myself, then you've already started. Thank you for sitting in this space with me. If this episode gave you something, clarity, permission, a spark, share it with someone else who's still carrying their weight in silence. Until the next time, keep breathing, keep building, and never, ever apologize for wanting a life that feels like yours. Adelante, siempre por tu mente. Forward, always for your mind.
Dice, yeah, ay, ay.